The nightclub Inferno. It was supposed to be a night to remember, a night of revelry and celebration at the popular nightclub in North Macedonia. The music was pulsating, the lights were flashing, and the crowd was dancing with abandon. But in an instant, the scene turned from joy to horror. A spark, possibly from a faulty electrical wire, ignited the highly flammable foam insulation on the club's walls. The fire spread with alarming speed, engulfing the packed dance floor in a matter of seconds. Panic set in as people scrambled to escape, but the narrow exits were quickly overwhelmed. The screams of the terrified patrons were drowned out by the roar of the flames, which seemed to grow louder and more intense by the second. The air was thick with smoke and toxic fumes, making it impossible to see or breathe. Those who tried to flee were trampled by the desperate crowd, their bodies broken and battered. As the fire raged on, the nightclub became a scene from hell. Flames licked at the walls, casting eerie shadows on the faces of the screaming victims. The once-thumping music had given way to an unearthly silence, punctuated only by the crackling of the fire and the anguished cries of those trapped inside. One by one, the emergency services arrived, their sirens piercing the night air. Firefighters battled to contain the blaze, but it was too late. The damage was done. The nightclub, once a place of joy and laughter, had become a charnel house, a tomb for the dozens of young people who had perished in the Inferno. As the survivors stumbled out into the cool night air, they were met with a scene of utter devastation. The nightclub was a smoldering ruin, its walls blackened and twisted by the intense heat. The bodies of the dead were strewn about, some burned beyond recognition. The investigation that followed would reveal a litany of safety failures and negligence, a shocking catalogue of errors that had led to the tragedy. But for the families of the victims, there would be no comfort, only grief and anger. Years would pass, but the memory of that terrible night would never fade. The nightclub Inferno would become a cautionary tale, a reminder of the dangers of complacency and neglect. But for those who had lived through the horror, the scars would never fully heal. The story of the nightclub fire would become a dark legend, a haunting reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of safety. It would be told and retold, a cautionary tale of the devastating consequences of human error. And as the years went by, the legend would grow, a reminder to always be vigilant, to never take safety for granted. But on certain nights, when the moon is full and the wind is blowing through the empty streets, the sounds of laughter and music can still be heard, echoing from the ruins of the nightclub. It's as if the ghosts of the victims are still trapped inside, reliving the horror of that terrible night, forever doomed to dance in the flames of the Inferno.